Hi, everybody. It's Ms. Whitley again, and it's time for video 2 of 2 for week 3 of first year experience. And I will go over the assignment due by Saturday, June 13th. That's in lesson 5. That's the group work project that will be completed by July the 11th, if all goes well. And it's called Apptivity. The word Apptivity is made up, and it's a combination of the word applications and the word activity, and we've combined them to call it Apptivity. Your focus is going to be working on applications or websites that address one of 3 major topics from chapter 3, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. We are already in the process of working on groups in some classes. All of you received yesterday in your Outlook inbox your group team assignment, and you had a letter that came with it that had a case study, and you and your teams are to discuss the 4 questions related to that case study. The case studies are based on chapter 2, emotional intelligence, and they ask you to go through chapter 2 looking specifically at the chart that says emotional intelligence in everyday life, and it is on page 41 in the hard copy of your textbook. I don't know what page it's on in the online copies or your e-copies. I think maybe page 55, but I'm not sure. You're just looking in chapter 2 and you're looking for a chart that has skills and competencies of emotional intelligence. And I'll look with you at that in just a moment, your case studies and the letter that contains your case studies. They all came out yesterday in Outlook, and you'll see the names of your group members. So we're going to go to the lesson and talk about that. I'm going to show you where to find your group. And we've already talked about administration in video 1 of 2. Just keep in mind that at any point, if you're not happy with a grade, you're confused about a grade, I'm not ego involved in this. I want you to be successful. And if it's something that we can work through that is fair to everybody, I am wide open to that idea. So, or that concern you may have, please reach out to me. I know your other instructors may or may not have different policies, but certainly I want to hear from you, and that's why I brought up, as I did in video 1, that grading is closed for the technology quizzes and several of the extra credits, but I'm happy to have that ongoing discussion if you're concerned and moving forward if there's something that concerns you. If you did the participation of watching those videos, you sent me an email. I'm still working on trying to get those grades in for every class and every person who emailed me. From here moving forward, I'll put drop boxes in so that you can check off on your own that you've listened to the videos. And but before that, I wanted to make sure everybody reached out to me that wanted to and had a benefit for doing so via email. So let's go to the class and let's go to lesson 5 and let's talk about this group project. So I'm going to navigate to Blackboard's first year experience. You're welcome to join me there. It's probably a good idea. And so I'm going to bounce there now. So when you get to your home page, you should see something that says Apptivity Groups due July the 11th. And the activity group due July the 11th under something called My Groups. I believe other classes are also doing this because group work is very, very effective when you need to be creative. Group work's not for every type of work scenario. There are particular cases where it's a benefit, and we'll talk about those in a second. I want to show you that in lesson 5, if you go to lesson 5, which is what I'm doing now, you'll see that chapter 3 is discussed here. You'll see something called a graduation plan that we'll get to later. I just haven't moved it, and I don't really see a need to. But you don't see, well, there you go. You see the activity exercise. So there is another way of looking at the activity exercise, and that is to go through my groups or to go through this link here. I'll demonstrate that in a minute. Instead, I want to go back down and look at Chapter 3's PowerPoint. So Chapter 3 deals with managing your time, managing your energy, and managing your money. The purpose of you doing the activity exercise is for your group, well, there are 3 or 4 purposes. The main one is for your group to decide what type of applications you want to do a PowerPoint about, either managing time, I would call it managing your energy, being personal management. I like developing habits or exercise or dieting or things like that, and managing your money. Many students who have done this activity tell me that the applications they find as a group, they continue to use semester after semester. So when you're looking at the activity exercise, people, then you need to think in terms of benefiting not only your classmates who may see this PowerPoint, but yourselves as a group as well. So this is, let's see where would be the best place to start. Let's look at the assignments that are due. That might be best. So the first assignment that is due is for your group to submit a response in Dropbox for this activity related to the emotional case study your group was assigned via the email that came out yesterday. That by itself was a mouthful. So let's go up and find where that is. Now, if you've already started on case studies, 2 classes at least have already started that with me, then you don't need to go through the case again. Just upload so that you know how to and where to find the Dropbox for Lesson 5 and put in the answers to the questions. It can be briefly done. I just need to have some proof that you know where to find this Dropbox. For those of you who have just met your group members, you can find who your groups are by going into the activity link at the bottom. And if I click on that, it'll give me all of the tools that you have for your group. You can send email to them. You can do a group discussion board. So you don't have to meet as a group in Blackboard. You can meet in Zoom. You can meet in person. I'm not going to manage what you're doing during the quarantine or pandemic. You don't have to do that by any stretch. You can go to Microsoft Teams in Outlook, and maybe we'll do a session on that at another point. But that's another way of meeting people. So these are all the tools that you have at your disposal for your group. You even have your own group collaborate session if you want to start that. But what about the assignment? So I'm going to click above that where it says groups, and it takes me to the group that I'm a member of, and I can click here. And when I do, now this tells you some of the people that are combined together in class 62245. Again, that's the CRN number. So this is Mercy, Marissa, Nicholas, Samantha, and me, and Mohammed. So this tells you the group members. Again, another look at the group tools, and then the group assignment. And if I click here on the group assignment, it will take me to where I can start uploading my submissions. Now, this will show you the feedback. So you're going to do your submissions through lesson number 5. I want to reiterate, this assignment is worth about 150 points. I don't say that because if I did, I'm saying it, I don't write it, because if I were to put it in the lesson or grade book, it blows out the 1,000 points that we need to limit you to. So this is almost like getting an extra credit assignment, but it has so much benefit to it and so many moving pieces that you could make your grade a very nice grade in this class. And the group shares the grade by doing just a decent job at activity. So what you want to do is you want to make sure, and let me see if I can go back down here. You want to make sure that you have communicated by this coming Saturday. If you need an extension, email me. This is just what the date is now. So Saturday, June 13th, you want to have one designated submitter. And that designated submitter will submit the group's response up through Dropbox on your emotional case study. All of you got an email that had a case study assigned just to your group. You just talk about it. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. The case study refers back to chapter 2. And I just need some answers. Load them up into the Dropbox that you will find by clicking here. and one person needs to do that. And I'll go back down here. By the 20th, I need to have two things done. One is you as a group need to decide, are you doing a group PowerPoint on apps or websites related to time management, money management, or personal management, all from Chapter 3. So your group needs to have read Chapter 3 to figure out where do you want to go. Now, you'll be tested on Chapter 3, but not until the 27th of June. So it benefits you to read Chapter 3 anyway. And now you get to work with the material that I hope will be some of your group's favorite, more intriguing applications to work on or websites. Then on the 27th, you're going to produce and upload, maybe that's the better word because you'll have produced it somewhere, a rough draft of your presentation. I'll look at it. You get points for everything that you do. And then on the 11th of July, that's when you'll upload a recording of your PowerPoint presentation. PowerPoint has a narration to it feature, and you'll just narrate it like that, whoever in your group wants to do that. The video should be no more than 10 minutes. There's more information below about that. And that is 50 points. And then you'll also submit a team debrief form and a team ethics form. And so the team debrief form is 20 points, and the team ethics form is another 10 points. So if you look at that, that's 145 points there. So let's just make sure that's 25, 25, 50. So no, that's 150 points. That's how much this assignment is worth. So every time you submit a portion of this, your whole team gets that same amount of points. Okay, what's the relevance or importance of doing this assignment? First of all, to work as a project to research a topic, practice critical thinking, used to evaluate what applications you're going to use. I would suggest that you maybe Google the top 10 of 2019 or 2020 applications in whatever subject, time management, energy management, i.e. personal management, or time management, time, money, personal management from Chapter 3. So you're going to think critically. Number 3, share responsibilities for PowerPoint development. I thought this is a better way, or at least a different way, to learn about how to present PowerPoint, learn PowerPoint itself. Maybe you have someone in your group already who's an expert in PowerPoint. Maybe that person then is the final editor, but everybody does one PowerPoint slide. Number 4 is to share responsibilities for a project presentation. And number 5 is to practice the work ethics that you found in your syllabus, in the academic policy document specifically, and use that as guidelines for yourself, and just to make sure you are aware of how we at Gwinnett Tech have been asked to evaluate student improvement and student performance. Have we gone over those ethics is the question that we would ask ourselves as instructors, and this exercise gives you the chance to do that. The second reason we're doing it is to discover applications you can use for the betterment of your own life and for the lives of those who might see this PowerPoint in one of these critical areas of either time management, financial and money management, or personal management. And the topics for personal management could include how to build healthy habits, how to achieve mental and physical wellness, fitness, meditation, nutrition. I've had an application presented that was one of the top in its category for dental hygiene. So that's what category of personal management might be. So how do you start this assignment? This says for on-campus students, and we aren't that right now, so we're all online students. The class is divided into groups, which has happened. Each group will select 5 unique websites or mobile applications from your chosen topic from Chapter 3. And these applications or websites must be ones that you have used and or tested before presenting them as part of your PowerPoint presentation. Number 4, applications or websites must be helpful, and they have to be beneficial, either academically and or personally to students regardless of age, major, or gender. Those are just some of the parameters. It should be inclusive, something all people could use. Number 5, standard applications. Social media platforms and websites cannot be included in your presentation. Typical applications and websites include, but are not limited to, Microsoft 365 Office. Actually, that should be Microsoft Office 365. Blackboard, Google, Yahoo, Facebook, things that are native to your Android phone or native to your iPhone, ones that everybody would get. So if you're talking about using Google Calendar, everybody can have access to Google Calendar. This is to demonstrate your research skills. What else did you find similar maybe to Google Calendar, but you found it by going through the top time management apps of 2021, ones that are in development and are just being released. You see where I'm saying about your research skills. All right, so here are how your points go. This is a reflection of what was here above there. It tells you that your group work plan is worth 25, et cetera, et cetera. And I've added points above that are not here. And you can go above to find the format. The presentation needs to have a title slide, 5 applications or websites, and they should be on one slide each. A brief explanation of the application or website. What does it do? How is it helpful? What's the cost? The PowerPoint is a talking presentation. So by that, I mean don't put on a slide everything that you're going to say. You need to have a notes section. We'll look at that in just a moment. A list of sources your information came from. That protects us from plagiarism and gets us in the practice of working that out to make sure we give credit where credit's due. The uniqueness of the application of the website. And we're almost finished. So the Microsoft PowerPoint features, this is worth an additional 20 points, that you have 5 to 7 slides, including the title slide and the citation slide. That's your bibliography. A standard PowerPoint design theme that fits what your topic is about. Color combinations appropriate to your topic. At least 2 different slide layouts, 2 different font sizes. This is just to demonstrate that you know something about PowerPoint, and there is a tutorial that you'll take next week, the last one of your tech tutorials. To teach you some of this, always go to YouTube or Google to find more information on subjects that are not covered in depth that you want more information about. Boldface, italicized, or underlining for emphasis of the words, bulleting and numbering on a slide, a hyperlink on a slide, at least 2 images or graphics such as smart art, and slide transitions, which is another tab. This is different than animations, so a slide transition. You might want to Google what are the best slide transition types to use for a professional PowerPoint presentation. And then that is what your final draft will be. Okay, this sounds like a huge assignment. And it does cover a lot of material, a lot of time, and reaps a lot of rewards. So I want to go back and show you an example, 2 things, of what the end result will look like when you're finished. So let's go back to sharing slides, and I'm going to pull up an example of a student's assignment that was done in this exercise last semester. I've removed the names and I've removed the date, but it was last semester. This is 7 slides. This was on time management, and this is what their materials look like. Now, I don't know how I graded this. They didn't have any typos, proofread, very crisp. So this was one of their apps, Flora. This was another app, Pros and Cons. So you can see that they have included smart art, and they've organized it with pros and cons. Not sure why this V floats around, but I don't think it's on the original slide. The border doesn't show as it is in real life, and it is attached to your assignment because I'm showing it through Blackboard. If you want to continue going through this, well, I'm going to. Looks like I am. So again, I want to just reiterate, I'm showing you this through Blackboard. It does not display with these errors in its original form, which is attached to the assignment. This is what you're going to produce, something like this. Again, it's a group practice of PowerPoint, a group practice of research and critical thinking skills, which is also part of our objectives for this class. And this is the citation page. And I think it will give you the experience of working in a team. There is a video that is associated with the importance of teams.
Nearly all quality improvement work, including Lean and Six Sigma efforts, is performed by teams. There are also...
And it just started launching and talking just like that. I want to see if I can share this, about 2 minutes of this video with you. So if you'll hold, please, that is the end of the demonstration. And then I'm going to go pick up this example of why you need to work in teams. And I realize that we are running longer than usual. So just hold tight. And I wonder if you will be able to hear the audio on this. I don't see a screen that allows me to share audio. So what I may do to make sure that you can see the audio of this is to upload this into Lesson 5, and you as a group can listen to this. But it does talk about the importance of teams. It's short, oh my word, it's only about 2 minutes. The content, well, 4 minutes, the whole thing, but it gives you an idea of why are you doing this? Because some people don't like working in teams. So I'm just going to minimize this, and I want to go back and share one last thing before this closes. Two things, I suppose. One is I want to remind you of where the letter is. The letter looked like this, except it had your group's names across the top, and all of you got this in your Outlook. It told you the case, you read it together, and you then will answer the questions that are at the bottom. These are your 4 questions. Again, not looking for perfection, looking that you as a group have come together and you have uploaded your answers. You can just upload these right here into Lesson 5 Dropbox for activity. The other thing I want to show you is that after you have finished, everybody has read the Chapter 3, you've completed this step. Here's the group project that you'll be working on, the work plan. So this is also attached to Lesson 5 activity. It gives you the work plan, asks you to create a name of your group and list it here. It asks you to list your group members' names, to do step 1 of your work plan, which is just write a summary of what your group thinks it's doing. Share this with everybody in your group and upload it for points in lesson number 5. This is what's due on the 20th of June. And then this asks you to go back to the SMART goals and that you list SMART goals for this project. And that goes on a separate sheet. This gives you a reminder of the definitions. And this is where you would write your SMART objectives. You identify your resources. Remember, that was one of your SMART goals, to do R, how well that was relevant. The attainable, the A, you needed to understand your resources that helped you obtain or attain the goal you'd set for yourself. You're doing the same thing with this project. You're going to talk about the obstacles or constraints to your plan that you set forth for, let me just go back to number 5 a minute. This is where you list who already knows PowerPoint, who already has a favorite app in time management or money management or personal management, whichever you chose. So when you list that, list your obstacles. Maybe one obstacle is that your key person who knows PowerPoint works all the time. And I would say in that case that you need to make sure you are assigning as a team pieces of this project to people who have the time they can devote to it. Now, there will be some groups where members won't show up at all, and there will be some groups where members will do minimal work, and you need to understand that every individual is going to have a chance to assess their own self. That's one thing. And the other thing is that negotiate that amongst yourselves. So if one of you has more time, maybe you do volunteer to do more of a certain type of work, but those who are on a unique schedule, maybe they research an app or application or a website that fits your topic on their own. Let me go to this portion. This is who's accountable for each section, which is exactly what I just talked about, who's doing what, and list the names, the action items, and when they're due by. Number 8 is really important as we close out here. Number 8 is, what's your backup plan if somebody's unable to complete their portion? How do you handle that as a team? What if somebody gets sick? These things happen. I mean, my word, we're in the middle of a pandemic. So how are you developing contingency plans? With questions like this, with this whole chart, this whole paper, we're talking about developing backup plans and project management. That's really what we're doing. So this exercise is going to cover several weeks, and we'll be combining objectives for critical thinking, for research skills. That's in part 2 of your book. And we'll be working on our final portion of technology, which is PowerPoint. You'll be working as a team, practicing team skills. This has a lot packed into it. It's worth 150 points. So even though not all of that is listed, none of that is listed in your grade book, an excellent chance for the group as a whole to earn a lot of points and just have the experience of virtually working as a team. That's it for this longer PowerPoint video. I look forward to hearing your feedback and seeing how this project works online. I've never done it online before. We're working together, and we're going to go boldly where maybe none of us have gone before. Thanks for listening to video 2 of 2, and I look forward to hearing from you. Ms. Whitley signing off.